Okay, now we're inside. I've been grabbing things, putting together, and also taking a break. So we start at the highest point, which is a shower. So all the water's turned off outside, but all the pipes are still open. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this. You can hear the water running back out. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this off. Eventually we'll put a little vinegar on it. That water wants to run back down into here, and I'll go through it here. Oh, I have turned the breaker off in the main box for the water heater. It should be safe enough with it on, but yeah, I always turn it off in the winter anyway. So I just opened up the valve in the shower and took the head off. So all that water wants to run back down underground, and if there's enough water, it's going to push it back through here, back into these pipes. This is the 3/4 inch, or I should say the 1/2 inch pipe that comes in from the pump room. I think that's 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4, I don't care. So it's 1/2 inch. This is still open, so any water that makes it across here and down is going to flow out in the drain valve just outside the pump room. And to get rid of the rest of this, everything is turned on right now, including all the valves to the shower. What I want to do is be able to open up the hot and cold here, and what it will do will drain all the water through from here into that junction. I had about a 4-foot, 5-foot piece of 1/2 inch copper pipe that I always stuck in there and let it drain out into the floor drain. It has disappeared. I've got a piece of PVC conduit that I'll just put over the outside of it. It's 1/2 inch, and it'll drain the water. It won't be quite as clean, but got to work with what you got. All I'm planning on doing right now is just draining all the water out. I'll winterize this later if I've got time, or I'll come back. As long as the water's out of it, we should be in good shape. So the first thing I want to do, I'll put a little paper towel under here to catch any water that comes out. This is a piece of PVC. Just go around the outside. And now I will turn on water here. Turn on these valves. Make sure sure sounded like water came, but there's none coming out of the pipe right now. Another thing I want to do is cold water goes into the water heater and then goes out. This part is the lowest section. So I have a valve down here, and I'm going to, there is water coming out. Yep, the water's coming out, and it's going back here. So it's draining, it's just not draining through this like I wanted it to. Since I don't have the pipe that it fits in there, it's coming out and it's just flowing back here. This there must have been a dire need for a 5-foot piece of 1/2-inch pipe. Now I'm going to turn this valve on to drain the water heater. Oh, some dirty water coming out of there. That's why I winterize it later. Clean out everything. These water heaters have like 2 sections of 1-inch pipe that are maybe 4 or 5 inches long. They fill with water and then they have the heaters in those. There's so much buildup in this. And that's what heats the water. I've got this turned on its side, which I'm sure doesn't fit the warranty, but what it does do is it allows the water to run back out of those pipes so that it doesn't sit there. If I were to redo this, I put a threaded end on that where I could just put a garden hose or something to it, and that way I could just drain the water right out through the floor drain. Never did have any water come out of there. Put a pain in the butt doing it with this little cup. You got to figure this pipe is filled, this pipe is filled, this pipe down to here is filled. So it's going to have a little bit of quantity to it. Put a pain in the butt doing it with this little cup. You got to figure this pipe is filled, this pipe is filled, this pipe down to here is filled. So it's going to have a little bit of quantity to it. I believe there's no water coming out of that. It all came out and drained to the side. Another thing I'm going to do, I think it can wait. I'm going to take the spray head off of the sink. The end of it. Now I open this valve, which provides air directly into the water heater. Shake it a little bit. And hope that we've got all the water out of there, because if we don't, if that freezes, we lose the water heater. Oh. a second. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the air pump and put it into the shower and blow down the pipe. And what should happen is it should blow the water back through these pipes, and it should come out here. Or it'll come out there because this doesn't fit real good. I'll turn you back on when we do that. Okay, I've got all the valves open. I've got the drain valve to the hot water open. I've got the intake to the top open. And what I'm going to do now, I got the extension on the drain, so hopefully it'll go to the floor drain. But I am going to, got the air compressor in there in the shower. And what I'm going to do is blow air in there, and that hopefully will blow water back out here. It's done quite a bit in the past. So now we'll turn this on and see if we don't blow water back out of the drain pipe. You can see that worked. I'll let it run for a couple minutes. Basically, you want to get the majority of the water out. You want to get it out from behind the wall here. You want to get it down past the keys, and then it goes into the routing 6-inch pipe that's underneath the floor. Goes over through the sink and comes up through those Bluetooth PEX pipes. So basically you just want to get the majority of the water out of there. Oh, and you can see that the water is coming out. I'm sure there's more coming out. Yeah, I can see it dripping around the edge there. Oh, but I'm sure somebody had a good use of that 1/2-inch copper pipe that I had in here. I had 2 pieces, don't know what happened to them. I'm going to let that run for a couple minutes, and then we'll do the next one. Don't know if you can hear it gurgling, but you can hear the air coming through. The water is just dripping like crazy in there in the exit. That's why I have a 5 or 6 foot piece of 1/2-inch copper pipe, and I just stick it in there, and it's tight enough to where most of the water comes out this way. Just when I think half the water is coming out onto the floor of the sink cabinet. I can hear it just gurgling. Every once in a while, a little bit of water comes out. Just let the air supply run for 2 to 5 minutes, just to try to blow as much of it out of there as I can. Like I say, most of it will settle back down underneath the ground level, and it should dry it from there as long as I leave all the valves open. I've never had a problem with any of this freezing in 10 years we've had this cabin here. I've had trouble without in the pump room, but that's because it was drained one time by someone and they missed the one drain in the little spot, and I ended up having to replace a piece of copper. But I'd much rather take an hour and do this and have to take a couple hours to replace pipes. Replacing any more, it's all going to be PEX. I'm not going to mess with copper anymore. And I think that's good. I'm going to turn that off now. So what I'm going to do is remove this faucet head. It'll go back up inside there and make it a little difficult to get a hold of. So I always put a wire tie on it, cut it off in the spring when I put the head back on, but this keeps me from having to fish it out in the spring. There we go. No, you can't see, but there, I don't know if you can see that on my finger or not. There's just so much build up, and unfortunately this head and the shower head really don't have a good way of cleaning the aerators out. So what I'm going to do is take and just blow through these with the air. I think you can see some water came out of there, this one. So one other thing I thought I might try. And a couple of these that were in the freezer that were frozen, so they're nice and it's good water. I'm just gonna pour a little of that in here. See if we can't get rid of any of the crud stuff. Some of it just came right back up. What I'll do now is blow the good water through there. And then I'll take a big empty bag or a big sandwich bag, put these in there and put them in a drawer for the spring. And the next thing, we're going to hook this up into here and try to blow any water that's still in these pipes out. If this fit well, it would come out I'm now going to put the air compressor into the end of the sink and try to blow the water down if there is any. I put this pipe back on here, the conduit. If there's any water, it'll come out. Mostly it'll probably just leak out there at the bottom, but we'll just put this in here and try to blow out any water. There was quite a bit of water coming out of it. I mean, maybe a cup full, but it's not coming out through here. It's just leaking out around the exit where I put that paper towel. Paper towel's getting soaked. So that part is done. What I want to do now is bring the pump down here, air pump. And before I do that, the other end of this hose down here, it makes a big loop. And to keep that from holding water and blowing out, I'm going to disconnect it right in here. It's got a joint right here. Oh, that hurts. This up a little. Take away that sharp edge. Oh, much better. There we go. And see the end of it here. And there's just a thimble full of water. The thimble full is enough to freeze in a bend and make your spring a lousy opening. And I'm going to disconnect the hot. This is the cold. Disconnect the hot. And now I'm going to use the air. I'm going to use the air to blow out the water heater. Probably be hard to see from back here, so I'm going to make a different view for you. So we took the extension hose that has a joint and we disconnected it and just let it run free. And that way any water should run out of it. Now what we want to do is to blow out the inline water heater. As I said, I've got a drain at the bottom, and I've got this valve at the top that allows me, when I go to winterize it a little bit better, what I will do is circulate vinegar through it to try to get rid of any buildup in it. Plus, right at the where the water comes in, the cold water comes in, there's a screen right there on the inlet. And I'm going to loosen that nut, take a vacuum and see if I can't get any of the buildup off of it. What I'd really like to do is one of these days on the drain side, put a threaded pipe to where I could circulate the vinegar in reverse. That would blow out the screen of anything that's got there. But for right now, all we're going to do, we're going to take the air and we're going to blow through the water heater. And to make it a little better, you can see that I've got a cold water shut off for the water heater right down here. So I'm going to turn that off, so the most it can do is just blow to that and then stop. And then hopefully we blow through this. I'll open that in a little bit. If any water is built up, it'll drain. But what I want to do is just build up as much pressure as I can on the inside of that water heater. Oh, it is tight quarters, and I'm an old man, so. Put this down in here. I'll move this a little so it's not so much in my way. Try to hold it with one hand and turn the compressor on with the other. Don't know if you can see it, but there's water coming out of the drain now. Exactly what we want. Down to a drip now. Now I'm going to open up a cold water valve to it. So now I don't know if you saw that, but out of the cold water valve to the sink, we were blowing air through that. Turn that off, and now any air should blow water out the drain, and it's dripping. The drain down here is dripping a little bit. There's water blowing out through the pipes. There's not much water left in these pipes, but no use taking any chances, especially with this water heater. I had to replace one because of the buildup inside of it, and I've had to replace one because it froze over the winter. The first one I put in, it froze. I tried blowing everything out, but when it was standing the way it's supposed to, standing horizontally or vertically, then I wasn't able to get all the water out of it. So that's why I got to lay it on its side so I can hopefully get all the water out. Try to open this valve all the way. There's still quite a bit of water dripping out of the drain, so we're doing some good there. There's no more water coming out of the water heater drain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out, put it over here, and turn this on, back on, blow water down through here. That way it's blowing either to the drain there or it's blowing it back into the inlet pipe, which will drain back out into the main drain by the pump ring. I'll just let it run for a few minutes. that, do it to the hot water. Now I'm just gonna blow the hot water back in the valve for the hot water. Turn it on and see how much water we get coming out. I suspect it would just be a few drops. If I can find it, there it is. Need to hold it on with one hand and turn the pump on with the other. Don't know whether you can see, but there is a trickle of water coming out. And we'll just hold this on here for a few minutes. Try to dry the pipes out as much as possible. Last thing I'm going to do is just loosen the input nut to the water water heater, so that I can clean the input. These are sort of a pain to get started again, but it's the right thing to do. There we go. I'm just going to put my finger down there for, oh yeah. I can feel some little kidney stones, or whatever you want to call it. There's one little one on there. I'll take a vacuum and vacuum that. Now that I got that off, I may just I'm going to blow this directly in there, see if anything else comes out. Blew more water out of there than I thought. It's making a little bit of a sound, and I think what's happening is blowing the air in, and it's blowing into those tubes like a tuba or whatever. But when I took the air away a couple times, there was more water came out, and I think what I'm doing is blowing the water up into the end of the tube. When I release the air, the water comes back down, which is a good thing. So I think that was well worth doing. And that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and do the winterization, which is very simple. Take off the knob that covers the screw. Take the screw that holds the valve handle on. Take the valve handle off. Make sure we don't lose the screw. This is what is used to control hot and cold. Move that to the side. Need to take the faceplate off with these two long screws. What we're going to do is just take the cartridge out of here. Pour a little purified water on it, see if we can't get some of the crap out of it, and see if it's still, if the valve is still floating like it should. When I shake it, you should be able to hear the valve click, because it'll, inside there's a piece that floats depending on the water pressure coming in from hot or cold, and you should hear it bounce back and forth. Need to pull this clip up, even though I have bought more clips. I've lost a couple of them back behind here. This clip is what retention clip to keep the cartridge in. There we go. Got it out. All this will go in that same plastic bag with the shower head. And now this just comes out. Nice pinch. I may have to go for the bigger pliers. Yes, it does come out. I've taken it out every year. But boy, I don't know if it's the water this year. There's all the buildup, but something is sure making it harder to come out. I'm going for the bigger pliers. Turn your back on when I get them. Mr. Valve meet Mr. Big Ass pliers. Well, with my weight, you know it's in there good. There it is. And that is the cartridge. Hear that? Still working well. Trouble is, once it dries out, some of that minerals will build up on it. So what I will do is pour some fresh water on this and see if that helps it. And then I'll put it in the bag with the shower head. Well, I'm going to start cleaning up now. The only thing really I need to do now is do my restoration of the hot water heater, which means take and circulate. I've got a pump where I can, submersible pump I put down in some vinegar, and then I circulate the vinegar through the hot water heater, try to clean off any buildup that's in there. Before I do that, I'll clean the clean that filter screen that's on the input side to the heater. And before I leave, I will do a little flyby and we'll take a look at everything for one last time. And until then, well, I'm ready to leave. I've swept the floor, thrown away the trash, closed the doors to the cabinets. Everything's been drained. Everything's been put away into the utility shed. I've packed up everything into my SUV, ready to go. Let there be no light. And there was no light. Oh. There we go. Do a little flyby here. See what all's going on or what we've done. We did get some rain. I had to knock the rain off the top of the temporary shed again. The water's still really low. I'm going to have to make me a metal stake that goes out there with inches on it to measure how high the water gets or how low it gets. You can see the back of the pier setting up. This bank is really starting to slope. The water just draws it towards it. The trees got some nice color in them. Unfortunately, there's no sunlight to really make it shine. I've closed off the drain valve down here to the inlet pipe, and I've closed it up. But even if it floods, it won't have any water in it. Thought about having a fire, but I would have had to mess with it all day and smell like smoke and deal with the ashes before I left. And actually, it feels like it's. I checked the weather and it said it was up to 57, which is nicer than I thought it was going to be. This bathroom is winterized and closed up. The north bathroom is winterized and closed up. And I cleaned the toilets. We've got antifreeze in them. The inline filter is gone, but I still have it turned on to inline, so if we don't forget it in the spring, it's going to flood us, which I've done that before. We're at 0. Everything's open. The upper valve's open. The lower valve's open. I ran the, just to make sure there's nothing in there, nothing else came out. Turn the light off. Need to lock the door. Reach in there, pull it shut, try it, and it's done. It's a gray day. Turned out a little warmer than it was supposed to be. Plus I turned on the little floor heater in there. I had it set to 68 and it got a little hot and I had to take my sweatshirt off, so I backed it down to 65, and 65 it was turning on and off. It was coming on maybe every 5 minutes and running for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, turning back off. So it had no problem keeping the temperature up. I got the trash out here. I almost forgot until I looked at it. I used the outhouse, so I turned the light on, and I did not put the hook on the door. So wonderful outhouse. Just turn the light off. Reach in here. Oh, it smells so wonderful. Oh, gotta actually back in, find it. Lights off. Door shut. Hook's on. Pump is off, of course. So is the water heater. In fact, I turned off the circuit breaker in the main box, so everything's off. Turn the refrigerator back to the lowest setting, and I've got everything out of there, got it cleaned. So now only thing I got left to do for winterization is to run some vinegar through that inline water heater. And I'm going to be down, going to try to if the weather helps us. I need to redo those 4 windowsills and redo the cleats. So I'm going to try to do that. That'll be the next thing I try to do, and when the weather warms back up a little bit. And then, so until then, don't know how often I'll be back down. Now the leaves are coming down pretty good. So as all the leaves come down, we'll probably be down to mow the leaves and the grass at the same time. So until then, everyone take care of themselves, stay safe, and we'll see you then.